So I'm doing one of my favorite readings. I've done this before, but it's time. This is my favorite reading from the work of Robert Fulghum. He's the author that you might have heard of for All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And this is a selection from It Was on Fire When I Lay Down on It. Do you know about geek dancing? No, that's not a mistake in spelling. Not Greek, but geek dancing. Actually, geek is in the dictionary. It refers to a carnival performer whose act consists of doing weird things. Biting the head off of a live chicken, for example. Yeah, right. In current slang, a geek is someone who looks like he might be capable of doing something like that. A person who bears watching. I hear young people using the word to describe anybody who is older and independent in lifestyle. There's a kind of compliment implied. It means you're a little strange, but interesting. I guess it's true. A lot of older types are a bit geeky. At some point, your genetic code presses a switch in your head. You look in your closet to dress for the day and you say to yourself, who cares? You reach the point somewhere around 60 when you decide to just go ahead and weird out. You start out the door in your house slippers, headed for the grocery store, and you don't go back and change into shoes. To hell with it. Or you go out to the mailbox in your bathrobe, your oldest, sleaziest, comfiest bathrobe, and don't give a damn who sees you. Or when someone rings the doorbell, you don't check in the mirror to see how you look. You just open the door. It's their problem, whoever they are. So you aren't color coordinated anymore. So you don't make your bed every day. So your life becomes like your old car. Just as long as it runs and it gets you there, who cares how it looks? Some people call this going to seed. Others call it the beginning of wisdom. Take your pick. But I was going to talk about geek dancing. When I get down and my life is log-jammed and I need some affirmative action, I go where people dance. I don't mean joints where people go to get crocked and then wobble around on the floor to music. I mean places where people who really like to dance go to do that. I like dancers. Never met a serious dancer who wasn't a pretty fine human being. And I enjoy the never-ending pleasure of being surprised by just who dancers are. It does me good to see a couple of ill-builts, kind of fat and homely and solemn and all, get up on the floor and waltz like angels. When I see people like that on the street and start to look down my nose at them, a bitter voice in my head says, probably dancers. And I feel better about them, and me. Anyhow, about geek dancing. My favorite place, the Owl Tavern, has a traditional jazz on Sunday nights from 6:30 to 9:30. The geek band plays swing music from Chicago and New Orleans from the good old days. Most of the people who show up are over 40, blue-collar, one-beer types who have to be at work on Monday at 7:30. Not what you'd call a rowdy crowd. Dancers is what you'd call them. I like to look around and find the King Hill champion geek for the evening. An old guy wearing invisible house slippers in his bathrobe. Balding, white hair, short, wrinkled, the kind who sort of lists to port when he walks. One who you might think was strictly nursing home material if you saw him at the bus stop. But you see him here. And you know, a dancer, a dancing geek. And he usually has his wife, the geekess, with him. A bit younger, always fluffed up a bit for dancing, and has been for 50 years. Checker shoes. If they are black with mid-heels and a strap across the instep, it's a sure bet what she came for and what she is going to do. The music cranks up. He takes her by the hand and kind of limps out onto the floor. It's an act, just to set you up. And then it happens. She steps into a permanent spot formed by his embrace. The years fall away, and once again, Cinderella and the prince move to the music in the room and the music in their hearts. It takes about 40 years to dance with a partner this way. Such ease, such grace, with all kinds of little moves that have been perfected without words. He dances flat-footed and with an economy of motion. She responds to unseen suggestions to twirl out around and back. Their eyes meet from time to time, and you know that you're seeing a pretty happy marriage there on the floor. You'd have to love someone a long time to do what they're doing. Sometimes the old geek asks another lady to dance, and somebody usually asks the geekess. They make whoever they are dancing with look pretty good and feel pretty nice too, I bet. An 81-year-old geekess once asked me to dance on such an evening. I gave her my best, and she stayed right with me. "You're pretty good, honey," she said as I escorted her to her seat. I lived off that compliment for a week. I want to be, and I fully intend to be, an old geek dancer, and my geekess and I are working on our dance routine. I realize that it is a public responsibility to help everybody stay as young as long as they can, to set good examples, and I don't want to die quietly in my bed either, but at the end of the last dance, some lovely night, sit down in a chair, smile, and pass on. All this reminds me of something I heard about the Hopi Indians. They don't think there is much difference between praying and dancing, that both are necessary for a long life. The Hopis should know, I guess, as they have been through a lot and are still around. They say to be a useful Hopi is to be one who has a quiet heart and takes part in all the dances. Yes.